Passing a business from one generation to the next can be tricky. That's why a lot of them close when the owner is ready to retire. In Keene, a well-known family business is making that transition. We hear from the mother and daughter on how they navigate it, and we also have a bonus trail running audio postcard on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Clarkson University, offering over 95 programs of study with campuses in the Hudson Valley, Central, and Northern New York. More at clarkson.edu.
Hey, I'm David Summerstein. It's Friday, May 17th. First up, new details about an accidental explosion at a house in Raquette Lake yesterday morning. Police confirm it occurred at Lake Cora Great Camp. 34-year-old Joshua Van Dyke of Croghan is the property manager there. Van Dyke and a 3-year-old boy were in the boiler room. Police say Van Dyke was trying to repair a copper fitting on a water line and triggered an explosion when he attempted to ignite his torch. The boy was near the exit door. A contractor nearby heard the explosion and put out the fire with an extinguisher. Police say Van Dyke and the boy suffered severe burns and were airlifted to SUNY Upstate Hospital in Syracuse. They were in stable condition this morning. A Hamilton County fire investigator deemed the fire accidental. For family businesses, how and when to pass the torch can be a tough question. Sometimes there's a kid who's always wanted to take over, but other times it's more of a happy accident. Anna Williams-Bergen has this North Country at Work story.
Keene Valley is a little hamlet right next to the High Peaks region. It's got just a few stores, but one of them has been open in one form or another for over 100 years.
When the store first started in the 1890s, Keene Valley had specific stores, a bakery, a butcher, a general grocery store. And the Birch store was originally the smoking parlor that went next door to the grocery store.
That's Marion Jeffers, current owner of the Birch store, which was named in the 1950s for a large tree that used to grow next to the building. Jeffers bought the business back in the 1980s.
One of the original things that was sold there was balsam pillows and maple candy. And people still come through the door today and say, I bought my first balsam pillow and my first maple candy at the Birch store.
They still sell balsam pillows, but now there are also clothes, jewelry, and home goods. A little bit of everything.
The building really has a life of its own. There have only been 4 owners before I took over in 1987. And the interior of the store is really not changed dramatically. We have the same counter.
Jeffers describes the store's interior as bright and colorful, not too dark and Adirondack-y. But she says the first thing most customers notice is the smell, French milled soaps and those balsam pillows. Jeffers bought the store when her daughter, Maya Judd, was young. Judd says she basically grew up in the store, but she remembers things used to be a little more laid back than they are now.
Open only in the summers, often just on weekends, limited hours. If it was a really nice day, you would put a
gone swimming
sign on the door and close up.
Judd grew up and moved to New York City. She had 4 kids and worked as a photo stylist.
We had always kind of talked about, should I take over the Birch store? How could I take over the Birch store? It would mean living here. I don't live here.
So what changed? COVID. The day New York City schools shut down, Judd took her kids up to the Adirondacks.
We came to the mountains and moved right into my mom's house. Thank you very much, Mom.
Once things started to reopen, Judd traveled back and forth to the city for work. But she says living in Keene Valley and working at the Birch store just started to feel right.
We decided we wanted to stay here. The kids really loved it. They were thriving in the schools, and making the decision to relocate my family here opened up this possibility that we had always sort of been dancing with.
Right now, they're in kind of a transitional period. Judd is working there full time, and Jeffers is still there too. They're both really excited about it, but Jeffers says it's taken a little getting used to.
I am used to doing everything. I'm capable of doing everything that needs to be done in the store. So sometimes it is hard for me to give up ownership of the way things have always been done in the past. However, it's time to do it. You know, it's always good to have a refresher and new energy coming in.
One thing that helped? Jeffers went on vacation for 2 months and came back to find the store was just fine.
They did move the office around, and I don't really like where they put my desk, so that will change.
Judd says there's no taking the mother-daughter relationship out of running a business.
Certainly, like the employees get to hear some like, Mom.
Maybe that's just part of the ambiance. Jeffers and Judd both say the store is really a woman's space.
It's also been mostly female-owned, so it has a different kind of vibe, as you might say.
There's lots of times there's groups of women shopping together, and like all the dressing rooms, the curtains are all open, and people are out in the middle of the room in their bras, trading shirts and sweaters.
They both agree those are some of their favorite moments. For Judd, there's also the joy of moving back to the North Country.
I'm enjoying being involved in a small community and all that can come from that.
The eventual plan is for Judd to take over the Birch store completely. For North Country Public Radio's North Country at Work project, I'm Anna Williams-Bergen.
The story was suggested to us by a member of NCPR's Texting Club. If you have a North Country at Work story in mind, we want to hear it. Just text the word NEXT to 315-978-6277. You can also email us, work@ncpr.org. Love to get those story ideas. So it looks like it's going to be a beautiful spring weekend ahead, so let's get inspired. Emily Russell found lots of wild beauty on a spring trail run near Keene and sent this audio postcard.
I'm running out to Clements Pond. It's a little body of water about a mile and a half back in the woods. I'm out here with a few friends, including Diane Fish. This time of year, Fish keeps her eyes out for new signs of spring.
I love the wildflowers. Like almost every week there's something different. So today I saw some bloodroot not blooming. Haven't seen anything in here yet. I am not looking hard enough. I'm just trying to keep up.
The trail does get steep in some sections. It climbs up through the forest, leaving me a little out of breath at times. But the view makes it all worth it.
There's beautiful big shelves of rock that kind of rise up from the forest floor. The base is covered in green, deep green moss.
In the trees above us, little green buds sprout out from the branches. At our feet below, there are all kinds of natural obstacles. Lisa Malmgren loves this about trail running, that it takes so much focus.
Every time you put your foot down, you're either stepping on something or over something or across something, whether it's a twig or root or leaves or mud or flowing water.
There's a shallow stream that cuts through the trail a couple of times. The water, a deep dark blue. It ripples along the surface. At times, we have to hop from rock to cross the streams. Other times, we balance on a big log. It's hard work, but Malmgren says there's something in sync about the work we're doing and the work the wilderness does in the spring.
It feels like we're kind of coming back into our own and like back to life at the same time as the woods are, which is pretty cool. So it's just like as things are leafing out, like I also feel like my fitness is getting better and the days are getting longer.
As we climb higher, we see little pops of pink and white on the ground, the petals of the painted trillium wildflower. The woods, too, feel so alive.
I love this time of year. It's so fleeting and just like ephemeral.
That's Margot Brooks. She leads us through the final section of the trail. We pass a beaver dam on our right before walking out to the edge of Clements Pond. A spring chorus of frogs fills the air.
We're hearing some peeper song, and the sun is like kind of starting to set, but it's just shining across the water, and there's some black fly activity, but they're not biting, which is nice.
Oh, and there was a fish just jumping there. I saw it. Oh, this is amazing. In this moment of spring, the woods and waters have really come alive. Emily Russell, North Country Public Radio at Clements Pond in the northeastern Adirondacks.
Really beautiful photos on our website, ncpr.org. More news there, of course, through the weekend. Music today by Lost in Beijing of Keene and Paul Myers of Colton. Have a great weekend. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.